Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make sauerkraut with beer. And there is a bit of a caveat to it, so stay put to find out what that is. But let's get making it. It's made pretty much the same way as you would make regular kraut. So get your cabbage, take off the outer leaves and put them to the side. And start chopping your cabbage. So a full recipe in the description, but you're basically going to need a cabbage, salt, a shot of sour beer, maybe some water, some scales, a bowl, and some jars to put it in. Okay, now the cabbage is chopped, we're going to weigh it to know how much salt to add. This cabbage weighs 982 grams, so I am going to do a 2.5% salinity, which means that I need 982 times 2.5%. So I need 25 grams of salt. As always, a pro move, weigh it out into something smaller. Bit much. 25 grams of salt. Then we just pour this in and massage the salt into the cabbage. So if you've not made sauerkraut before or any of this is confusing, I do have a video which goes into how to make sauerkraut. It goes into more detail which you might find useful, and I'll link to it so that you can watch it after this video. If you're interested in getting into pickling or you want to know some interesting recipes, do subscribe because I am publishing more and more pickle recipes. Getting there. I'm going to put this into jars. I've only got 2 small jars. I'm reusing them. So I'm going to split this into 2 jars. And this shot of beer that I have, probably about 100, 200 ml of beer, and it's going to act like a starter. Sometimes when people make sauerkraut, what they like to do, and I do this sometimes as well, is to use some of the old juice left over from a previous batch and pour it into the new batch as an inoculation of lactobacillus. And it just means that the fermentation will be a bit more reliable, it's more likely to go well, and it's more likely that the lactobacillus will take over as opposed to any other kind of bug. Now, with beer, the vast majority of beer contains hops, and hops are antimicrobial and they hinder the development of lactobacillus. So you need to be very careful with which beer you get. This beer that I have here is a sour beer. It has lactobacillus in it. The lactobacillus in the sour beer is what gives the beer its sourness. And sour beers are more and more common these days. I actually made this one myself, and let me know if you're interested in beer making. I actually have a beer channel. It's called Keg That, and I will link to it below as well if you're interested, especially the sour beer episode that I made. But the important thing though is that the sour beer has no hops. And I think something to be careful of is that in the craft beer world, there are a lot of kettle sours, and what that means is that the lactobacillus goes into the kettle where they leave the beer for about 3 days with lactobacillus, and then it sours the beer, but then they boil it and it kills the lactobacillus. And sometimes they add hops. I mean, they often add hops to get more of the tropical flavors that lactobacillus can actually impart to beer. So really, you need a true sour beer that has used lactobacillus as one of the fermenting organisms. There are a range of really, really nice Belgian sour beers. And they have all sorts of bugs in them, like different kinds of Brettanomyces and other things, which make the beers like really complex and tasty. I'm not sure which ones are hopped and which ones aren't, but you can try using some of those as a starter, or do what I did, make your own. So I'm going to split this between 2 jars. My jars are quite small, and this is going to have to be split between 2 jars as well. Just doing what I normally do and just shoving in as much kraut into the jar to really pack it down. It's important to make sure there's no air in this. It's probably enough for 1 jar. Cool, I think that's good. I might save the rest of my dinner actually. There we go. And now I'm just going to pour. So I've got a shot of beer. You can use more actually. I didn't want the beer to be too overpowering. I mean, I probably could have used double this actually for like a shot for each jar, but let's see how this goes. And then we're going to cap it with the top leaf. Does it need a bit more liquid maybe? I'll pour a bit more water here. Right, that's all nicely below the liquid level, and now we wait. So I'm going to burp these in 4 to 5 days, but I'll see you in about 2.5 weeks to see how this has come out. So it's time to see how it's come out. Quite excited actually. So I've just got the top leaf to take off, and oh, it's looking good. This is what it looks like inside. Don't know if you can see that so well. Smells like kraut, and let's give it a taste. Oh, it tastes very different from a normal kraut. So the texture is quite different. It's a bit softer for a start, and it is a lot more sour than normal. I am getting hints of the beer, and it's a really interesting sour. It's like fairly on the extreme end of sour. Right, some of the cabbage flavour is actually coming through a lot more than it normally would. Oh wow, that's so interesting. It is very, very sour. It's like very cabbagey and very sour. Not like a regular kraut at all. Oh, that's so interesting. I'm quite enjoying that. I'll definitely give that a go again. The next fun thing to see will be if I can make beer from pickles. But I'd really like to know if you've given this a go, or if you've got any questions, so please do post in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. But if you found this useful, please do like, and if you want to see more fermenting videos, then do subscribe as well. Maybe I'll post a video of me making beer from pickles. Anyway, thank you for watching.